All right. Are you ready?
Yes, very much so.
Now, you've had massages before, right?
I have only a few.
Okay.
And then also, I guess it was a lot of massage. Physical therapy
Yes.
was definitely had a lot of massage in it, but it wasn't like going for just a specific overall massage.
All right. And do you want to introduce yourself? Oh, there you go.
Sure. I am Handren Seavey, a comedian and originally from the East Coast and been out here in LA for a little over a year now.
Over a year already.
Yeah, it was July last year that we moved here.
That's crazy. Now, are you guys still in the bus?
No, we got a place once we moved here. Um, we traveling around in the bus and stuff was great when you're just in a city for like a week or something and you're in and out. But we weren't gonna do living in a place in the bus.
Do you still have the bus?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
It's we got a parking spot up in Altadena that we pay like $100 a month for, and just park it up there. And we're saving up right now to do a bunch of work on it that it needed from the whole year traveling around. And then we're either going to rent it out and do a few more trips ourselves or just sell it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, what made you decide to get in a bus? Like, what was that decision?
Um, we were living in Boston. I was doing comedy there. I started up in Maine and then moved down to Boston pretty quickly after I started. And I met my wife there, and we had been there for a while. And we knew we were going to either move to New York or LA for, I needed to for comedy.
Uh huh.
And then we started seeing online people doing like the van life and stuff like that. And we were like, that would be fun to do, to see a bunch of places. And we are like, well, maybe before we move to New York, LA, we do that in between. And then we're like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So we just started saving. And about 8 months later, we found a bus and we bought it. And then I want to say it was like 5 months after that, we were on the road. And had kind of said, like, in between that time, we said, okay, let's do a year. And I'll start booking shows everywhere I can find. And then it just kind of slowly came together. And, like, we kind of ran on this 2 month schedule of that's how far out we were planning.
Okay.
Because for booking comedy and just stuff like that, 2 months is usually a good amount of time.
Now,
And then we also knew we wanted to not be in winter, so we left in the fall and just headed south and stayed south for the winter, and then back up the west coast in the summer.
okay. Is it a big bus or?
No, it's like 19 feet long. It's like one of the short buses.
Okay. Only because my my white trash uncle and aunt, I mean, let's just call it what they were.
Yep.
They got a really big bus
Oh,
and
yeah.
converted it and put it on my grandparents' property and lived on it for a while, or lived in it for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, there were parts like school kids would get confused. Like they'd walk by and be like, "Is that our bus?" Like,
we built it all up at my parents' farm in Maine,
okay,
and while we were living in Boston, we just had it parked up there, and we would go up on weekends and stuff and work on it. And then eventually, the last month before we left our apartment and left Boston and moved up there for a month to finish it.
uh huh.
But there's some there. I mean, it's a lot of white trash around where I grew up, and
Oh,
we
me
even
too.
have some in our family.
That's
But
most of my family.
yeah, I go about a 50-50 split.
No, I'm about 80-20.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But there was some people right down the road from my parents' house who had that type of situation going on, just full size bus, living in it, but like nothing like you see. We completely renovated, tore out everything, and then rebuilt it. So on the inside, it looks like a tiny home on the inside.
Right. I mean, theirs had a little kitchen.
Yeah.
It had a bed, 2 bedrooms. Like I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah.
And they were super racist, which I never understood.
Did they live in the back of the bus?
No. They made the kids go to the back of the bus. They're like, you go to the back of the bus. But oh my gosh.
Yeah, you see it like we met people on the road who were we met some people who were like, oh, wow, that's really cool. You've done an amazing setup with your bus here. And then we met other people that are just like, oh, you just kind of tore everything out and threw a mattress on the floor. Oh, okay. I guess that's a renovation.
You're like, good job.
Yeah.
We left the seats in. They're like, no, they're tiny beds.
Yeah. Well, when we got it from this guy who had bought it for like his college band to tour in, but then they never ended up touring. And then he graduated college, and his parents were like, okay, now that you're done with college, where are you going to put this bus that you've been parking at our house? And so he had to sell it for like a lot cheaper than he wanted to, and we got a good deal on it. But he had taken out like 2 rows of seats, and then there were still 2 more rows of seats left in it.
Okay.
It is those things don't come out easy.
I could imagine. Because, I mean, little kids destroy shit. So anything you have to nail down.
Yeah. Oh, they're bolted straight through the bottom of the bus.
To the point, like, anytime, like, our couch will break or our recliner breaks, then John's like, let's go get new furniture. I'm like, no.
No.
We have 3 boys. No. I do not
build
want
something out of 2x4s.
Right? Like, they have semen all over this house. I don't want all my new stuff to be covered in semen. It's so gross. They're so nasty. I love them.
I was one of 3 boys.
Were you?
Yeah, I'm the youngest.
Oh, you're my Brody. Okay.
And I used to think about that with my mom doing laundry. Of just like, it was probably just jizz-filled sock after sock.
Well, my rule is, as soon as they start ejaculating, they start doing their own laundry. Like, that's the rule.
How do you bring that up?
Oh, I don't care. You've seen my comedy.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I talk to the kids. I'm like, you guys are gross. Keep it in your pants. Like, anytime my 18-year-old leaves the house, I'm like, I don't want to be a grandma.
Yeah.
He's like, shut up, Joy. Well, no.
No, my parents, I'm the youngest, and so, like, by the time I was 16, 17, 18, they were like, look, we don't really care what you do. We don't want to hear from the cops or a pregnant woman.
Yep.
Other than that, like, just don't tell us. Don't, if you're going to be gone all night, just let us know, and we'll lock the door. But otherwise, yeah, by the time because my oldest brother is 9 years older than me, too.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time I was, like, 16, they had been parents for, like, 20-something years, and they were ready to just move on.
All mine are 5 years apart.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, as soon as they go into kindergarten, I'm like, I need a new one. And then when Brody went into kindergarten, John's like, I'm going to get you a dog. I'm like, okay. And now we have 3 dogs.
Yeah.
So, oops. But yeah, they're so cute when they're little, and then they cry, and you're like, fuck, what did I do?
I was definitely, and I say this in a bit that I do now, but like since saying it in the bit, my parents told me, but I was like, I was supposed to be a girl or an accident because one brother's 9 years older and the other one's 5 years older. And after saying it in the bit, my parents were just like, yeah, no, girl. That's what we were going for. Yeah.
Oh, I had to. Okay, so I wanted a girl. Okay, so Tyler, my oldest, is my stepson.
Yeah. Same thing for my oldest is my half brother.
Right.
We have different dads.
I've been here since he was 3 years old. He's mine. We don't know where the hell his mom is. Hopefully she stays away forever.
Yeah.
So then we had Caleb. Caleb was a complete accident. I wasn't even supposed to have kids. So that was a fun thing.
Like you didn't think you could?
Yeah, the doctor was like, hey, you can't have kids. I was okay, cool. Not true. So then I had Caleb, and then I was like, I want a girl. And John's like, okay, I'll give you a girl. But
promises.
You cannot, because he races RC cars, and I give him shit for it.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can't give me shit when I go race RC cars, or I spend thousands of dollars on tiny little Oompa Loompa tires. And I was like, okay. And then Brody had a penis, and the doctor's like, I guarantee if you guys have another one, it's going to be a girl. And John's like, you need to shut the fuck up and stop talking to my wife right now.
Doctor saying shit like that.
He was pissed. And then Brody came out. So now I'm just trying to make one of them gay. I don't think it's going to work.
No, that's how you do it, I think.
It's like, I tell him, I'm like, whichever one of you is gay is going to be my favorite. But I think I say it enough where the kids are like, yeah, Mom, we know. We know.
Yeah. We're all trying. We're doing our best, Mom. Just
We're
not.
not going to take a dick for you, Mom. Like, I love you, but no. Like, come on, I can teach you how to give blowjobs. Like, it'll be amazing. I know. Did your parents, like, did they try for a girl or they were just done?
No, they were done after I came. And that's also when we moved. I was about a year and a half old, and they were living in Falmouth, Maine, which is right next to Portland, in a little house, and they moved back to the land my dad grew up on and built the farm. And I think that kind of became, rather than having a girl, because we had like just probably like 20 Angora rabbits
Aww.
at the place we had in Falmouth.
Uh-huh.
Because my mom was a spinner, and so she made yarn and stuff out of the fur. And then we moved to the farm, and it became like a full sheep and goats and chickens and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's how I am with the dogs. To the point, I'm like, I want a baby donkey. I want a baby cow.
Yeah. Well, that eventually with the sheep and the goats and the chickens, those were all like farm animals that you could also make money off of.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually they had enough, and my dad switched jobs and had more income, so that they went to horses, which you don't make money off horses.
No, I don't want a horse. See, I just want miniature stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I want a miniature donkey, a miniature pig, a miniature giraffe. Like, yeah.
We used to have a Shetland pony. That
Oh.
was probably the smallest.
And I want them all to live with me in my house. But I also don't want to move out of the city.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
You might be able to get away. Do you have a backyard?
We do, but where we live, it's very pretentious. We live in Santa Clarita.
Oh, yeah.
So we are already at our max for dogs. Like, you can only
Yeah.
have 3. And I was like, all right. But yeah, we get the weird, like, we have a basset hound, and then we have a basset hound pit bull, and then we have a Chihuahua wiener dog. So we get the weird looking ones.
Yeah.
So, all right. So your shoulders,
Yeah, what's up with them?
they're super tight.
Yeah, I bet.
do you drive? Well, you drive because you said that you deliver, right?
No, ride a bike.
Oh, you ride a bike.
Yeah, so I'm just leaning on my arms all day.
Okay.
But also this one, I dislocated, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. It was like a partial dislocation playing in a comedy softball league in Boston. And I dove for a ball and tried to like tuck and roll out of the dive and just landed right on my shoulder. And that has made, I think you can probably feel like on this side right down the plane, there's just like this knot that goes down the whole thing. And then I probably compensate for it with the other shoulder.
Yep.
And then on top of that, riding around, I'm always like wearing a bag and stuff too. So it's just. But also, I blew out my right knee skiing when I was like 19, and I think that has thrown off how I walk and everything. And I can just definitely feel all up and down my right side, everything just kind of off a little bit. And I stretch a lot and do, exercise and try and keep it limber, but it's just, I've never been able to like kind of get everything back to right and not hurting. It's just always managing.
Yeah, especially knees, because I had knee surgery when I was like 23.
Yeah.
And, every once in a while, my niece, she's my trainer, when I'm doing squats, she'll record it. And you can see me babying my left knee. Like, you can just see the way I'm squatting. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So it's always there. And in fact, when my low back starts to hurt, I roll out my quad. And that's the thing throwing my low back out.
Yeah.
So you start learning, like, okay, well, this is my bad spot. How long did you ski for?
I started when I was 2, and then started competing probably around 13, and got up to competing at a professional level by the time I was like 17. And then I blew out my knee when I was 19, and then I coached for another 7 years after that.
Okay. What about your brothers? Do they have any sports?
My other brother Briar is the middle one. He played sports here and there, skateboarded and stuff growing up. My oldest brother played soccer all the way through high school.
Please say his name is like Jim or John.
No, Hayes.
Damn it. That'd be fantastic. It was like Handren, Briar, John.
Yeah. But Briar's a musician. He's lived out here for 15 years now. And he's a drummer and plays in a great band out here. That was really his thing. And then Hayes he's a big outdoors guy. He's got 2 kids now, and he spends, every summer outside camping with them. He did the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, shit.
So we're all like, big into things. But I was the only competitive sports one.
Okay.
But even with that, I like skiing because it was a individual sport. I didn't like working with teams.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Which I think is why I like stand up a lot and have never even done improv.
No yes and for you?
I would get so mad at somebody else if they were bad that I just go, I'm not going to try working with them.
Or they didn't take it the way you wanted it
Yeah.
to. You're like, no, dumbass, I was leading you this way.
Well, and I got into stand up from doing theater. So after I blew my knee out, I came back and had to go to college, and that's when I started coaching skiing and went to college. And I started doing theater in college, and I really liked performing, and I kind of got that thrill of that skiing would give you, because I was a freestyle skier too, so that's a lot more self-expressionist than, say, racing or anything.
Okay.
And I liked theater, and I liked being on stage, but I hated working with other people, and I hated saying other people's lines especially if it was like a bad play and you're like, I can think of something funnier here, and they would be like, no, you have to stick to the script, and you're like, well, the script is bad. Like,
oh, this sucks. That's kind of how I started writing. I read a book and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. And I was like,
I could write a better book.
And then I did, and then you read it so many times with editing and stuff, and then you're like, I hate this book now.
Yeah, that's how I feel with some jokes. There's ones that I can't even tell anymore. But there are ones that are like still in, if I'll do an hour, they're still in there. Right. But I can just feel myself pulling away from them and not caring about them anymore. Even though, like, when I wrote it first time, I was like, this is the best thing I've written.
Right. I think it was Earl. I think it was during his podcast. He kind of said the same thing, where he's like, I'd start in on a bit that I'd done so much, he would kind of check out.
Yeah, you totally do.
And he wasn't connecting with the audience anymore, because he was like, oh, I know what I'm going to say. I know my beats.
Yeah.
And so he had to stop himself and make himself present.
You make yourself present, and also, like, I will, in order to, like, change it, a few times I've made stuff better, because I will, like, on purpose fuck it up. Like, say a punchline before it's supposed to come in it, and then be like, okay, now I have to figure out how to still make this work, and then it'll make you find something new in it. Right.
Just talking it out, yeah. And like, okay, I got to put something else in there. So you like comedy's your thing?
Yeah.
Is that what you want to do?
That's how I'd like to be able to pay the bills, because I've
done... Pay the bus?
Yeah, pay the bus bills. I've done from theater, so I did theater all through college, and then I got out of college and was always in like a local Portland play. There's a good art scene in Portland and stuff, and would do that all the time, and then started doing sketch video stuff with some friends of mine, and we ended up making a full-length movie called The Water in the Bay that you can find on Vimeo. But that's right about the time I started doing stand-up.
Okay.
And it was like 8 years ago, and as soon as I did stand-up, I was like, there's no fucking waiting around on set. there's no working with other people. And I was like, I love this so much more than, I like performing, but this is the ultimate of performing for me.
It really, yeah.
And so I was like, I'll do and go to audition for stuff here and there and small stuff or commercials. Like, if you tell me it's a day or two that you need me, like, I could put that together. But the idea of going someplace for a month to shoot a movie or something, like, just doesn't interest me.
No. I'd like to see my books in movies, but I don't want to be in the movies.
Yeah.
But that's another thing, too. I was talking to a producer, and he's like, I'll help you, but I have to, like, cut them. And I'm like, I don't want to cut them.
Yeah.
Like, I like everything about it. And he's like, yeah, some characters will get smushed together. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. But then he was like, well, you have to get rid of your babies so you can make more babies. And I was like, no, I'm just going to keep all my babies.
Well, and ultimately you just want to get to the point where, like, you could make that, but you don't have to listen to anybody.
Right.
And people get to that point, too, where it's just like, if, like Louis' show, if he had made that 10 years earlier, somebody would have fucked with it.
That's true. That is true. Now, because you had 3 brothers, did you guys get into a lot of trouble?
Yeah. I mean, mostly they just beat me up a lot.
But you like them, right?
Oh, yeah. Now we're way better. I feel like I didn't really know them that much growing up, because, like, we were little kids, and then I was in, I want to say, 2nd grade when Briar went into middle school. Hayes was already in high school, and then Hayes graduated and left. Briar dropped out of school and ran away from home.
Oh, shit.
And so I never was in school with them or anything from 2nd grade on.
That's how Brody is. Because Brody's now in 3rd grade, Caleb's in 8th grade, and Tyler's graduated.
And but now, like, I live just down the street from Briar now. And in my 20s, I'd coach skiing in the winter and then landscape in the summers. And I worked with my oldest brother at this landscaping company. So that's really where we, like, kind of bonded more and got to know each other.
Okay. Because I keep telling my kids, I'm like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die soon. And then it's just going to be you 3. And they're like, Mom, you're not going to die. I'm like, I am. And I'm like, I'm going to be dead. So you guys better get along. And, like, right now, the youngest, because the oldest is kind of mean sometimes.
Yeah.
So, like, Brody will come up to me and he's like, Mom, when I'm older, I'm going to kick Tyler's butt. And I'm like, shit. And I just have this picture of, like, Thanksgiving. We're all going to be sitting there and Brody's just going to step up and just slam the shit into Tyler.
That is funny. I could definitely beat up Briar now. Hayes, because he's, I don't know, 41, I could probably take him now. We're about the same size. Briar's pretty skinny. He's a little shorter than me, but, like, all growing up, he was always bigger than me. And then he left. But, yeah, that's the funny thing is, like, I never get to, have my revenge, because now it's like, oh, I'm not going to fight you. And, like, we get along and stuff. But it's, like, so many things that I never got even for.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, and Caleb's my devious one, my middle.
Yeah.
So, one night Tyler fell asleep, and he's like, Mom, look at Tyler's phone. And I was like, fuck, I don't want to see my oldest watching porn. But it was a penis enlargement pills. And I was like, Caleb, don't say anything. That would embarrass him. And he's like, no, Mom, this is going in my wedding speech for him. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, oh, yeah, when he gets married, I'm going to bring this out and be like, yeah, Tyler, you came a long way from searching for penis enlargement pills. And I truly think he'll do it, because Caleb is my evil genius.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter if it's 10 years from now. He'll be like, that's in the file.
Yep.
I got it locked in.
He also tells me, he's like, Mom, I have a story. I have a secret about Tyler. And I'm like, tell me. And he's like, nope. I'm like, you're not going to tell me. He's like, no, brother code. And I'm like, there's no such thing as brother code. It's mommy code. And he's like, no, I'm just going to save it. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, Caleb's the one that scares me. Brody's going to burn the world down, but Caleb's going to be the one that teaches him how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And Tyler's he's my jock. He's like the firefighter kid, has abs.
Yeah, the stuff that like my parents never found out about were things like getting the car stuck four-wheeling out in the woods for like 9 hours and having to like dig it out and call people to come help you dig it out, and then you get it out and wash it off and just go back home and you're like, no, nothing ever happened. I don't know what to tell you. Or like going and partying, and there's so much drug use that just was never talked about or brought up, or even I know what they know or not.
Shit.
But
That's terrifying as a mom of
oh
boys.
yeah, I mean it was never anything too bad, but mostly just like by the time my senior year, it was like they didn't know I smoked weed, and I was like smoking weed every day.
Oh shit.
But that was also a lot brought on by skiing, because it's huge in skiing.
Is it really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the part right there that always is.
Yeah. Yeah. Put some more CBD on it. All right. Is there anything you want to plug?
I have a YouTube show called Fireside Chats, where I start a fire and we cook something on it, and I talk to comedians and other fun people. And then I have a podcast starting this Sunday that will be live on Sundays, and then also you'll find it everywhere, called To Live and Bike in LA. And it's just all about biking around this crazy city.
Nice.
How incredibly dangerous it is.
Right? Have you ever been hit?
Not here. I got hit in Portland, Maine, and it's the only time I've ever been hit, and I realized how not to get hit, and that's just to assume nobody ever sees you, even if you're supposed to have the right of the way. Like when people stop and try and wave me across, I'm like, no, I'm not.
I don't trust you.
Yeah, no, you go. You're in the car. I'll wait for you to be gone.
That's funny. When we were little, and anytime we'd have to cross the street, my mom would go, "Cars can kill you. Don't be stupid."
Yeah.
And to this day, like when the kids, I'm like, "Cars can kill you. Don't be stupid." And they're like, "Okay, Mom." Like, Grandma told me. All right. Man, yeah.
Yeah, right there. They're probably on the other side too. Is super tight.
Yeah, your shoulder, your whole top of your traps.
Yeah.
All right, try not and shower for a while.
Okay.
Let this sink in. This stuff, like I'm saying, this CBD stuff, I normally don't talk about stuff unless it works, and this stuff is amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm psyched to try this topical because I've had their regular and their pills all the time. I love them. I love it too with the pain. It doesn't feel like you took anything for pain.
No, it
just
doesn't.
all of a sudden it's gone.
No jittery. No, you're right. You were so right
You
about
don't
that.
feel like, even with like Advil, you can it can mess your stomach up a little bit. With real pain pills, you get high and it's fun, but just for the pain part, I love the CBD.
Yes. All right. How do you feel?
Oh, amazing.
Oh shit, I forgot to take a picture. Hold on. Stay
Okay.
where you are. I always forget to take this damn picture. Every time I get down here, I'm allergic to something down here. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, take your time getting up. Get up slow.
I wonder if it is, because I feel a little stuffed up too.
No, that's your lymphatic system.
Oh, is it?
Because when you get a massage, your blood goes 3 times faster than normal.